Hi, I'm Peter Birch. Welcome to the How-To series brought to you by Ultimate Reptile Supplies. In today's show, we're going to show you how to build a enclosure just like this for small pythons. Welcome to CrittaCam. So for this particular python setup, I've chosen the large URS terrarium. It's suitable for small to medium-sized pythons. And one of the great things I love about the lids themselves, which we've already had fitted for ourselves here, is the lighting system. They actually have these push-out sections here where you can push them out and put in your lights just like we've got right here. We've actually decided to use the URS ES fittings. So basically it's the ceramic fitting. Ceramic is much better than the plastic because exposure to a lot of heat over a lot of time, the plastic will start to get very brittle and sometimes will even break when you're putting it inside your globes, which is very difficult and very dangerous. They're already hooked up with a plug on the end, which makes them compliant to the Australian standards, which means you're going to be nice and safe. So what we've decided to use is for heating is this URS infrared globes. So basically you've got a heat section. So at one end of the cage you've got heat, which naturally allows the reptile to thermoregulate, which means the animal needs to move towards the heat to increase its metabolism, to digest its food, or in sometimes it will move away from the heat when it needs to cool down. It's allowing the animal to move in and out of those heat zones, which is very important for a reptile. And on this side we've actually installed a compact fluorescent globe. This is actually a UV section here, which is 5%. The other thing that we've done here is we actually put on these cages. Now these cages are to protect the animal inside the enclosure, in this particular case the python, from actually wrapping around the globes, because if those globes come on when the animal's wrapped around it, the animal is going to get burnt, and I mean severely burnt. So these cages are to protect your little friend inside its enclosure from being exposed to anything electrical or even heat. Very important. So one of the other important things about this particular lid is the ventilation. It's got plenty of ventilation in the lid there. It allows the heat to move in and out as well as oxygen to move in and out. So now that we've got the lid covered, let's talk about some substrate. So I really like the Gypsy Snake. It's a great product. It's fully endorsed, and I mean this product here is soft, malleable. So what that really means is if your python accidentally eats it, it's going to go straight through the body without causing any serious damage. It's a very soft product. So we're going to pour some of this inside the enclosure and start setting up the cage the way you guys should. So now we've put the bedding in there. Now the good thing about this substrate bedding, and substrate means that it comes in small particles and can be broken down quite easily. And like I said before, it really is good and it's very soft material. It's not hard or scratchy, and it's not going to cause any digestive problems to your animal. But the one thing I really like about it is that if your animal defecates in the corner, the substrate's going to clump around there and you're going to be able to pick it out quite easily and dispose of it. And if you continue to do that, you're going to get a lot of wear and tear out of this substrate, at least 6 to 8 weeks. One of the most important things about pythons is that they, like all animals, need a place to be able to pull away from society so they can cool down and chill out a little bit. And for this we've chosen the Ultimate Rock. This is actually the cornerstone where the Ultimate Reptile Supplies came from. This actual creation foundation is over 20 years, and I mean it's a great attractive rock too. So basically I just push it into the cage, squish it down a bit so it's sitting on top of the glass. I mean that is a great rock. It looks really nice. The snake can hide in there and feel very comfortable. The next thing we need is a water bowl. For the water bowl for this particular cage we've chosen this beautiful little cage rock right here. It's called the Billabong water bowl, and there again you want to make sure that you're moving the substrate aside, pushing that rock down to the bottom of the cage. That'll just help prevent the little python thinking that he can burrow underneath and getting trapped underneath that rock. And we always put that down the cool end of the cage, so you've got the heat, the hiding area up the warm end of the cage, and you've got the cool end of the cage where you've got the water bowl. Now for a cage decoration, this is a wonderful looking and attractive piece. It's basically a fake bit of branch and some greenery. Adds a little bit of pop to the enclosure. And one of the cool things is it allows your animal to move around a little bit more. And every bit of that animal moving around inside the enclosure means that that animal's getting a lot of exercise. That looks pretty cool. So just before we put the lid on, we're going to open up the thermometer and the thermostat. The thermostat's going to be able to keep an eye on the temperature of the light globe, making sure that the heat that's coming out of that is somewhat where we want it. This thermometer here, it's a small easy to install little product. It's going to tell us the temperature inside the enclosure under the hot spot and also the temperature in the cool spot of the cage. So we're going to go ahead and set them up right now. One of the other cool things I like about these lids is they've got the ability to stick your cords through, so you don't have to worry about it. When they clip on nice and tight, all your cords are all locked into place. So once that's all in, the next thing I like to do, or the next thing you should be doing, is placing the heat source directly into the thermostat. You need to just basically recalibrate the thermostat to the temperature that's required, and for that you have this special little key to make sure it doesn't get tampered with later on. And there you have it. You can set it here. We can double check with our thermostat right here. It's got these great sliding doors, double sliding doors that lock, very important. It's also got a sealer here in between to stop the pythons from pushing out. The next thing we're going to do is chuck some water in that bowl and put a little snake in there. So we're going to stick in this wonderful little Stimson's python into his new little home. Close that door, make sure it locks in nice and tight. And there we have a little python enclosure for these Antaresia and small carpets. And just remember, when you go to take these guys out, make sure you get yourself a hook, a little collapsible hook like this. Makes your job so much easier.